Yeah.
Right, baby. Well, David, thank you for being here on this planet and on this podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just, if you're listening to the recording, we are moving and we'll probably be moving and breathing and shaking and just, if there's one thing that we have found to be important, it's that the body is a vessel for awakening of mind, body, and spirit. And so keeping it mobile is essential. And I have just such profound gratitude and appreciation for this man. And we're just gonna have some fun here.
Yeah.
So, David, why don't you start by introducing yourself to everybody listening to this right now?
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, my purpose on this planet is to bridge spiritual cultivation and physical training. Right. So as a former athlete playing football for 10 years, that was my flow state. That was one of my connections to God. And I grew up, my mom was Catholic and I went to church, on Easter and Christmas, and I was like, yeah, Christ is cool, man. Like, let's play some ball. Let me go climb the trees and and I remember a moment when I was 7 years old feeling, just quite sad and depressed from moving. My whole family moved. And I remember just feeling like lost and alone. And I was like, I'm gonna go out in nature. And something magical happened moving in nature. Something profound happened just being with the trees and the water. And I was like, oh, my soul is here. I didn't have those words, but I was like, I felt that connection, to creator, to God. And I was like, this is what I'm here to do, is to move and breathe and connect to this energy. So that took me on a path to play football, of course, play in college, and then I got my degree in psychology because I struggled with a lot of depression. Growing up, I was highly sensitive, highly empathic, and so football helped me develop that structure. We call it the warrior, right? It's like the warrior path is needed, especially today more than ever, because everyone sits on their ass playing video games nowadays, right? Or watching YouTube. And if you're watching this, thank you. And as soon as it's done, go get up and move, please.
Even right now, get up and move as you're listening to this, watching this.
That is right.
Wiggle
That's
your body.
Even better.
Even if you're in the car, just like better. Wiggle your shoulders, do something, This is
it's funny. Thomas, I love you for saying that, because whenever I'm watching something, I'm foam rolling, I'm stretching my hip flexors. I'll be in the car with one of those lacrosse balls. I put it in a sock. My favorite team is Kansas City Chiefs. I put in a sock and I put it in and I'm massaging while I'm driving. I'm like,
yes. Yeah, that's, man, this, and he's not kidding. Every time I hang out with this guy, it's like, oh, I gotta roll. We're watching the Chiefs games and like David's over there rolling. And then as soon as, and then Mahomes is like going off and then David goes off and like, it's great. It's great. So that's actually in the context of this podcast, I speak to a lot of people who are, there's a lot of people listening who are entrepreneurs, people who are working from a desk for long hours, people who are in tech, people who are leaders and building something cool, and love what they do, but kind of struggle to find ways to incorporate movement into their day. So I love what you started to point to there. And I'd love to ask you, like, for anybody listening, like, what are some of the other ways that you incorporate movement and that kind of like personal cultivation? It could be even beyond just moving, but like, how do you incorporate that prayer and breath and movement into your day?
That's a great question. I'm getting chills as you say it. And I treat it like brushing my teeth and taking a shower, right? Morning and night, you spend 3 minutes brushing your teeth. So in my day, the first thing I do, I spend at least 10 minutes rolling my hips, doing some forward folds and back bends, foam rolling, And if I only have 10 minutes, that will do. But, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, so I have an hour, right? It's just like, and I've got, a wife and a child, and as soon as another child on the way, and I'm running a business, I'm like, oh, what do? I just wake up earlier. So that's number one, is like create 30 minutes every morning. That's just non-negotiable. It's just not. So that's number one. Number two is every 2 hours, between, like, I'll just roll my hips, I'll do some shoulder roll. And with my clients, right, because I have a personal training background, now that I'm doing more soul work and, emotional work and so forth, we do at least 15 minutes every session where we're opening our body, because trauma lives in the body, right? So when we're talking about soul healing, those stories live in the tissues. Those emotions live in the tissues. So every session I'm in, as intense stuff comes up, some trauma, some triggers, like, oh, it's tender, like, let's breathe, let's put our hands on our body, let's roll our shoulders, let's open up our heart, literally, right? Let's wiggle our hips. Oh, there's some worthy stuff. Oh, I don't feel good enough. Let's just roll the hips and start to feel like, things move, so like I incorporate it throughout the day, at least every couple hours. I'm like, let me just shake, fastest way. If y'all listen to this, okay, if you are stressed out, the next time you feel stressed out, overwhelmed, you got an email, you got 5 million calls to do, whatever it is, put everything down and shake your ass off for 1 full minute. Okay. Shake,
Can you show us what you mean by shake your ass off?
Shaking, this is for me. Okay. So it's all about the posture, right? So have your feet shoulder width. And if you're watching, you can do it with me. Feet shoulder width. And then feel your crown extend and your shoulders drop. And then start to bounce a little bit from the knees, right? So we want both the toes and the heel connected. And then we call these cleansing breaths. So you breathe in through the nose with sound. Exhale a sigh. Just make whatever sound feels natural, right? At the end of a long day, to clear our mind, what do? And then start to shake the wrists. Let the shoulders really fall and rise. Right? The traps get tight as fuck. We just got to clear it out. Let's take like 5 more deep breaths. Kind of shake in whatever way feels right for you. 3 more, breathing in big. Big sound. 2 more. Last one. Now stop. Freeze. Take 3 slow breaths. Feel your knees soften, your shoulders relax. Feel the energy inside of you. Feeling a little lighter and brighter, perhaps. And then when you're ready, let's bring one hand to the heart, one to the belly, and just smile to your body. Thank you, body. Thank you, mind. Thank you, spirit. So every cell is revitalized with chi right now, with spirit, right? We are spiritual beings in a human body, and our body is our vehicle. And some people take better care of their cars than their own physical body, right? It's like, oh, this is my vehicle, this is my body. How can I tend to my body with greater care and love, right? And so that's what this is about, right? It's like our body is that vehicle for awakening and enlightenment. And sometimes it can be hard being in a body. And that's what we're here to do, to create safety for our spirit to rest in our body. That our true nature, our soul essence, come fully alive in this body.
So good. I feel so good.
Oh man, I love you so much. So, can I tell people how we met? Or do you want to tell that story?
That's exactly what came
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So,
I'm just gonna
so
pour
I met
myself a cup of
Thomas.
tea here. There we go.
Yeah. Yes, fine, sir. Why, thank you. Just pour one for me, please.
Yes. How did we meet? So David Beaudry, tell me.
So, so back in 2013, before the Noble Movement Academy was created, I used to run what I call Jedi activations. Okay. And it was 3-day like breath work, Qigong, soul work, And Thomas come to me as a freshman in college, right? This 6'5" dude, basketball player, well spoken, and I could just feel the integrity and the love and the strength and the wide-eyed puppy dog energy. Like, wow, like I'm gonna practice. I just felt this earnestness about you. You're like, man, this is really powerful stuff. And I didn't know, most college kids are like, that was cool, and then they just get drunk all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I just remember then, seeing you a year later, a couple of years later, like I've been practicing Qigong every day, and it's what allowed me to play, D1 basketball, to, get a degree in electrical awesomeness, whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you see an event. You've ever heard of an event called Jedi activation? Like, are you going to hear of an event called Jedi activation and not go? Like, my brother tells me, bro, we're going to Jedi activation. And I'm like, yeah, we are. Let's go. And then we're there. And it was amazing. David's like, I still remember those first practices and the awakenings and the learning these like tools and this, like the power of the breath and the intention in the body. And like, coming from where I came from, like I did some yoga. I was always interested in energy work and like was very like on the path of like, I want to be a disciplined human and like live a good life. And then being with David, it was like all that stuff got activated and honed. And like I think that's one of the things you pointed to while we were shaking just a minute ago, right? It was like, this body is a vehicle for spirit, for awakening. And we are not our bodies. We are this energy, this spirit that's in the body. And I think that's one of the biggest messages and medicines that you bring to people. And like in doing work with Mike Bledsoe with the Strong Coach and seeing this starting to emerge, there is this awakening across the industry, which is realizing, oh man, like we've been kind of hollow chasing like weight loss and just trying to build the biggest bodies. And it doesn't necessarily lead to health, like the whole health of the whole person. So it's just, when I found you, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like really healing me inside and out.
Well said. That's beautiful. Health and happiness aren't necessarily happening when we're reaching our fitness goals, right? True health, longevity, and actual like worth, what I equate it to is like self-worth and honor and love. Do I love myself more? Do I appreciate and honor my body more? Are my relationships better? It's like the barometer of success in our society, is kind of backwards. So like now how I define sex.
How do you define sex, David Beaudry?
Another topic for another day. So success, to me is like nourishing relationships, feeling better in my body, more confident, more peaceful, more intimacy with my wife and daughter, more connection with my mom and dad, and I want to have a strong, healthy body, of course. But if that comes to the detriment of my relationships, and that comes from, like that energy of I can only be happy when I become 50 pounds less weight, when I become, 20 pounds more muscle, right? And I've chased those goals. I wanted to be a pro football player, and I chased those goals.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with those goals, y'all.
Those goals are great, but it has to be connected to a soul goal as well, right? So my physical goal, right? Every year I was playing ball, I want to gain 15 pounds of muscle because I'm a skinny Filipino and I'm gonna get crushed out there as a running back, you know? So like when I got to 185, I was like, I'm a beast. And I was still connected to my spiritual practice. I was reading Gandhi, reading about meditation. I was like, I'm a spiritual being and I'm gonna fuck people up. You know, and so that energy of like invigoration is what it feels like right now. You know, it's like how can we be invigorated through our movement and exercise and not just be drained?
Yes.
Right. And you know, if you're watching this, you know, I like participation, you know, like raise your hand if you're like, I feel drained too much from my workouts or from my work, right? The business, the like, there's a way in our society we're too fire. We just, you know, train, work, eat, right? It's like that energy is not sustainable, you know? So, you know, Thomas and I often talk about the water path.
Yeah, we go
You
off
know,
on the
and
water path.
Yeah, the water path, you know, so just in a nutshell, the water path is the ability to slow down, calm our nervous system, actually rest and do the functional movements, Qigong, breath work, yoga, right? Stuff like Move Not, Tack Fit, right? The mobility WOD type stuff, right? There's a lot of
the FRC
new
stuff.
Right.
It's emerging and it's like so needed. It's like coming out because people are so burned out. Like if you're listening to this, like oh man, so many people that I start to work with, it's just like, yeah, I know you want to lose 15 pounds, but like your nervous system is like, it's way over in sympathetic mode and you're stressed out all the time. Like we need to just like, we're going to dial it back. You're going to take 10 minutes in the morning for yourself and you're going to breathe and gently move your body. Like that is the foundation. That is the foundation that comes first. And then you build from there up to being able to do this hard training, but from a foundation of like integrity with yourself and love for yourself. And in a context where you're not just trying to reach some external goal, but you're going after you're after your soul goal. You're like living in alignment with spirit and connected to why you're doing that. And oh man, there's just so many rants that occurred on this topic. And it feels so good to be sharing it because I know that this resonates like in the collective right now.
Yeah, you know, and as you know, I've been in the industry, the training industry for 15 years. I've also been in the healing and therapy industry for the same amount of time, you know. And so I've been tracking the pulse of this great awakening, right? And you know, the prophets that speak of these times right now, they call the great purification, right? And if you look at the last 2 years, you know, it's been a blessing in disguise. Everybody has been locked in their house, needing to come to their center. Wow, I can't be distracted. I have to, I mean, you could just be on your phone for, you know, distracting yourself still. But then there's a certain point where you're like, why am I here on this earth? Why is my soul here? And why do I even have a body? And how can it, and the question I ask is, how do we, you know, use our body to be a better service to this, you know, to our community, really? You know, like I don't like saying the world because it's like, it's our community. We weren't actually meant, our brain, our nervous system wasn't designed to hear of every problem going on in the world, right? So people are freaking out a little bit about the war in Russia and Ukraine. And that makes sense, you know, and all I can do is send prayers to all those in suffering, prayers to all those who still need to fight real wars. And people who are sensitive, if you're watching this, you may feel that. And I feel that. I'm like, gosh, it's heavy right now, y'all. But this is part of the Great Awakening. And so at the end of the day, all I have control over, all you have control over, is our breath and our nervous system. How can I show up for my wife and daughter right now and make sure they're tender? How can I show up for my students and my clients and share the love where I can? Because I can't fly to Russia and help or Ukraine. I can't help what's going down in the Middle East. I can't help I can't do that, but I can send my love. I can just say, you know, God, open the way for healing.
Yes.
Great Spirit, open the way for healing. And I know that miracles are possible.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. By embodying it, by holding that space where you are, it ripples out into the universe. It ripples out across the planet through consciousness.
That's right. That's right. You know, and with our work, Thomas, like we've seen this coming now for the last 5 years, when in year one of the Noble Moon Academy, and I was like, Thomas, we're here to build something. I don't exactly know what it is, but we're integrating spirituality and the Far East, and these proven technologies to heal the body and get to the root of disease, And so my studies, I got my master's degree in medical Qigong, and we studied the root of cancer. And so in China, they have these medicineless hospitals. And, like once you get sick, right, so, there's a certain level where it's like, you've been to the Western doctor, you've been to the acupuncturist, you've been to everybody you can't heal, go see the medical Qigong doctor. And the medical Qigong doctors are what are called Wu Yi, which means shaman doctor. So they get to like, what is this disease? What is the imbalance that your soul is not listening to? Where's this old pattern? As an example, a lot of martial artists will get liver cancer, right? And so that liver cancer is from anger, rage, resentment, and unprocessed emotion, right? So it's like one thing to get it out with exercise, right? You think about CrossFit, which is amazing. I mean, I love it. If I was 20 years old, I would do it, but now I'm nearly 40, and my body I'm just going to get injured every time, but where I'm getting at is like the roots of our pain and our dysfunction and our emotions, right? There's a direct connection with what story have I been holding on to inside of my heart or my gut.
Yes, the gut. Oh,
right?
If
yeah, I can the just, gut.
I'm gonna rant on
am
that
I
for
worthy
a second.
Enough?
Yeah, am I worthy? And am I digesting life? Right, like this fire. We've been talking about this fire phenomenon of like, gotta go, gotta push, right? You've got to get to that next thing. You got to shovel down your meal in between your calls. Like you've got to eat it while you're in the car. Like that, all that stuff gets stuck in the body. Like your body's not designed for that. And that creates not only a physical issues. Like what do we see in the West, right? We see like obesity. We see like irritable bowel syndrome become this huge thing. And everybody with these digestive issues, sensitive guts, right? Like I'm exhibit A, I'm one of those people. It's like, what am I not digesting about life? Where do I not give myself space to breathe, to pause, to slow down and appreciate and be right here and now, right where I am. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. You are worthy. I am worthy. We are worthy. We are loved. We are supported in all ways. Mm-hmm.
So much for dropping.
Can y'all feel that? The chi works through the digital realms as well. So if y'all listening and y'all taking some breath with us, know that we're energy beings. We're energy beings, and in the moment that we learn to honor ourselves and honor our fullness, right? Honor our multidimensionality. Our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, right? Our spiritual body, right? And I think in the West, riffing on the fire element, we have deified the brain and the mind. And we think if we talk about it or read about it, that we're actually healing. And so that quality of like, we're not just the brain and the mind. And then, like how many, I definitely know for myself, I've been stressed about business before, and I've had to be like, well, like, I don't have time to work out or do Qigong or meditate. And that was the worst year of my life. I was like, oh, I just need to build my business and I just need to like crush it. And I was the most depressed, the most fucked up, because I got away from my practices. And I was like, never again, never again. When life brings me space and I don't have clients that means that space to practice. That means that space to connect to my body and my soul. And from that inner development, the external development comes, right? So now business is much more in flow, and I'm busier than I've ever had. And I'm also in the most flow that I've ever been, And so these simple master keys, now it's been 15 years that I'm embodying, and I'm seeing my students embody now, and my clients embody. I'm like, well, you're mastering your nervous system. Well done. That's the first step. If we can't master our nervous and our breath, we can talk all day and all night about happiness and health, but like, we don't know how to breathe. It's like we're not gonna heal in a deep way. We're not gonna have that capacity. So I really love that you're bringing, I feel, Thomas, you're a bridge, as well to the physical training world, the personal training world, to bring spirit, to bring chi, to bring emotional intelligence, and natural psychological development. 10 years in with training, I was just like, oh, I'm a psychologist too with these people.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, we're helping rewire the bad habits in the brain, but getting to the subconscious of, oh, this is why I keep self-sabotaging with my training plan. This is why I keep getting little injuries. Oh, because I haven't healed the root of, my emotional or psychological or spiritual self.
Yep. Yeah. It's deeper. It's deeper than the physical, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it starts with it does. It's like it does because I see you and I'm like, wow, man, Thomas, I feel a natural sense of honor and respect for your walk in the world and your place and how you operate, and your integrity, so thank you for your integrity and showing up to your practices, to your spiritual practice. Oftentimes I call it spiritual cross training. And part of that cross training is kettlebells, is TRX, is running around the block, is playing ninja training, kung fu with my daughter. And it's also singing, breathing, and praying my ass off.
Yeah, the singing, breathing, and praying. We call it SBP, the SBP protocol.
Right.
SBP, every day, baby. You sing songs to God, to however you want to call that, universe, spirit, divine, interconnected consciousness field, integrated field of consciousness, whatever, and you breathe and you
sing
pray.
Sing into our hearts.
Yes.
Right. Sing into our little hearts, right? It's like there's a little child inside of here that sometimes gets scared. Yeah. And inside of each of it, there's a little child that sometimes has fear and anger and sadness. And it's like, what do I do? The world is going to shit.
Yeah.
In those moments, I sing, I breathe, and I pray because I'm too depressed to move.
Yes. And those moments are going to come, y'all. They come no matter how long you've been on the path, no matter how long. It's a mountain with no top.
That's right.
And that's right. The real work is like, okay, can I be at peace with that? It's never going to be, I'm never going to get there until I'm dead. And that's that whole samurai, and like that samurai vibe of like a good dying, a good death, right? Of like embracing discomfort and like standing in that. And can you hold that field of divine love and like standing in yourself when the world is going to crazy around us, around you, around me? And,
yes.
And hold that it is for the best. It is for this divine plan. Man, so good.
Let's keep riffing. Let's talk about next time. Let's talk about the samurai code. Let's talk about spiritual warriorship, because these are important topics that I know we could riff on this for another hour.
We could riff. We're at the point now where it started to, like, the energy has started to really expand, as you can probably feel.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring it back down to close out this session today. Right. So just, if you're in a place where you can reach your hands over your head, reach your hands over your head, and then exhale, bring the hands down, facing the earth, allowing this energy to settle. The earth element. Trusting all is exactly as it's meant to be. One more time, inhaling, bring the hands up around you. Exhale, hands come down, releasing worry. It's all going to be all right. Just like Bob Marley says, every little thing is going to be all right. One more. We got to do 3 is the magic number.
Yeah. Calling in that trust, that deep trust. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everyone watching or listening. Thank you.
So to close this out, I'd love for you to share how people can work for you or work with you. And what do you got coming up? Because you got these practices that we're doing. They're you can learn them and you can dive deep into this path. So if people want to dive deeper with you, David, how, and not just with you, but with spirit, with this path.
Yeah. Well, number one, right, we're called the Noble Movement. So I've got tons of free material on YouTube, right? Qigong practice, Tumo breath work, like start there, okay? And then if you're interested in going into a deep dive with we have a year long and it's about 20 to 30 dedicated folks. And you can go to the noblemovement.com, right? You can go to the noblemovement.com and check it out and read into it. And we also have other programs we're actually launching starting on March 17th. We've got a sound invocation training specifically to help heal our fear and clear our dream space of worry and doubt and really connect us to our soul, because we all need that remembrance of who we truly are beyond the ego.
And anybody who's been struggling with sleep, that is the training for you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, thank you. So sound invocation training, better sleep, better connection, all the good, and fun. It's like we're bringing in joy, and we're unlocking the spiritual power of our voice, and that helps with our boundaries and whatnot. So we got lots cooking, and thank you, Thomas, for your time and energy and your brotherhood.
Oh yeah, David. So I'll include all those links in the notes or comments or description, wherever this gets posted. And yeah, just David, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want people to know or carry with them in the rest of their day as they proceed from this podcast?
Last thing I'll say is do a practice today, do an embodied practice, today, tonight, tomorrow morning. Just commit to that practice, even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? Whatever you got, just do it right now and know that, I love you, we love you, and love up on yourself.
That's it. You already know what to do. Just shake it out, move your body, listen to it, and follow that chi that's already there inside of you. That's
right. Well, have a great day. Blessings. Love you.
Blessings.
Hallelujah. Woo!
Hallelujah.